There's a deep interest in our subject, and I'm glad that we're getting together because the American people have witnessed the brutality of this administration's mass deportation campaign, and many of the witnesses that are here today will tell the story firsthand. Immigration agents have arrived in cities without consulting local law enforcement. They've roamed American streets in paramilitary gear and arrested and detained people based on the color of their skin, their accents, and language to speak, what is known out here as the Kavanaugh orders, the Kavanaugh established standards. They've shot and killed people. This is not a public safety operation that we see. It is an occupation by a paramilitary force. And as so often occurs in an occupation, children have often been the most harmed of all the victims. In my home state of Illinois, during the so-called Operation Midway Blitz, a suburban Chicago father and his one-year-old daughter, Ariana, were pepper sprayed by federal immigration agents as they headed to the grocery store. They were quickly rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors called poison control in Atlanta for advice. Since the pepper spraying, Ariana has been more clingy and unsettled. No surprise any father or grandfather knows this story. She is too young to understand what happened to her family, but she doesn't want to be left alone anymore. The Trump Department of Homeland Security rescinded a policy that limited ICE raids at schools, child care centers, and other places where children play and learn. Why were these restrictions in place to prevent ICE from raiding schools and child care centers? Because the harm we know happens to children when they experience this trauma. Witnessing a parent being detained or fearing that a parent will be taken away can have a lasting emotional scar on a child. Take my late constituent, Ophelia Torres, who passed away last month at 16 years of age, student at Lakeview High School. Her father was ripped away from her as she battled cancer. He was in a Home Depot parking lot trying to pick up an odd job. They came and arrested him, and he begged them to let him finish the job or at least go home to his daughter, who just got back from the hospital for brain cancer. They refused. They took him away for 2 weeks. They had to stop treatment because of the stress of her father on her personally. Or the 3-year-old who witnessed his father being detained at a traffic stop. Now, whenever he hears sirens, hides under tables and starts crying uncontrollably. His preschool teacher said, quote, "He doesn't understand immigration policy. He just knows someone took his dad." Today, doctors, educators, child care providers, and parents are struggling to help kids navigate the impacts of mass deportation. This administration has restarted the inhumane practice of family detention. Under the best of circumstances, family detention is costly, ineffective, and exposes children to lasting trauma. But under this administration, families in detention have received food contaminated with worms and mold. They've struggled to obtain water for formula and medical care for babies and children. This includes Amalia, an 18-month-old baby, 18 months, who became so sick with a respiratory illness she was hospitalized for 10 days only to be returned to detention and denied medication. In the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that we passed last year without any Democratic votes, Republicans gave the Department of Homeland Security $45 billion for immigration detention, including family detention. Yet the Trump DHS cannot find the money to get kids safe food and medicine. In fact, after children wrote letters from Dilley, one of the detention centers, about conditions there, guards took away their art supplies. The cruelty is the point. Thankfully, the American people are rejecting this depravity. Educators like our witness, Maria, have worked tirelessly to protect their kids and help them navigate the cruelty of this campaign. Neighbors have volunteered to drop children off at school. Students around the country, including 2 of our witnesses here today, have stood up for their classmates and family members. Congress has to do its part as well. The harms to children are exactly why Democrats have held the line, and with the support of the American people, laid out demands to deal with the Department of Homeland Security. The demands are simple and include ending roving patrols that lead to children and babies being tear gassed and ending indiscriminate arrest that tear apart some families, put others in detention. And we must pass a path to citizenship, something I worked on for more than 2 decades, to give stability to families and communities. It's long overdue. Today we have 5 witnesses. I'm going to go through a brief description of each. Our first witness is Leah. I met with Leah in her high school in Chicago. She led hundreds of high school students in Little Village, a Hispanic section of Chicago, in a walkout during Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago. She's continued her work to organize students in her community in opposition to administration's mass deportation campaigns. She's a senior. She tells me she's graduating. She's going to take the courses she needs to get into politics. We're sure glad you're here, Leah. I'll recognize you to speak in just a minute.
Talk to me first, Lee.
Angus King of Maine and Maisie Hirano of Hawaii. Our next witness is Alora Mukherjee. Is that right? Perfect. How about that? Directs the Immigrant Rights Clinic at Columbia Law School. Professor Mukherjee represents multiple families that have been detained. Third witness is Maria Heavener. Is that right? First grade teacher at Funston Elementary in Chicago, member of the Chicago Teachers Union. We're glad you're here, Maria. Next witness, Lisa Fortuna, clinical psychologist, professor and chair of the Department of Psychiatry and Neuroscience at the University of California, Riverside. Thanks for making the trip. Our final witness is Samia, a senior in high school in Minnesota and the local student representative on our school board. Before we turn to our witnesses, let me briefly lay out the mechanics. Each witness has 5 minutes to make an opening statement. Then senators will each take 5 minutes for questions. The first to be recognized is Leah. You have 5 minutes.